The digestive system. The journey down the alimentary canal begins in the mouth. Here, the food is broken down into smaller chewable pieces. Chewing breaks the food into pieces while saliva mixes with food to begin the process of breaking it down into a form our body can absorb and use. Rolling action of the tongue and secretion of saliva rolls food into a bolus. The saliva contains water, electrolytes, and antibacterial components and enzymes such as amylase. Amylase converts carbohydrates into sugar. Now that the food has reached to esophagus, a wave of smooth muscle contraction occurs, pushing the food into the stomach. The smooth muscle movements are called peristalsis. One of the most important functions of our stomach is to store food until it is digested. Food can be stored here for 2 to 6 hours. It also kills the microorganisms we consume unconsciously along with our food and begins the digestion of the proteins we took in our diet. Stop. Okay, go. The stomach secretes juices such as hydrochloric acid, water, mucus, pepsin, and renin that continue the process of breaking down the food. Pepsin is secreted as pepsinogen by cells in the gastric glands that are present in the deep folds of the stomach lining. Other cells in the gastric glands produce hydrochloric acid, which has a pH balance between 1 and 3. The low pH helps convert pepsinogen to pepsin and is also the right pH for pepsin enzymatic action. Hydrochloric acid also helps the break bonds holding the ingested contents together. The breakdown of this food contents exposes more surface area to the action of pepsin and later to the other digestive enzymes in the small intestine. Stop. Contraction of the smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach roll around its contents, mixing partly digested food with enzymes in the small intestine. Mali. Wait. Start with contraction. Okay. Asa na itong contraction ay? Esophagus naman na. Okay. Contraction of the smooth muscles in the walls of the stomach roll around its contents, mixing partly digested food with enzymes and acids. This acidic fluid mixture of gastric juice is called chyme. Peristaltic movements of the stomach walls push chyme towards the end of the stomach. These waves of peristalsis cause the pyloric sphincter to relax briefly so that very little amount of chyme can enter the small intestine. In this way, our stomach empties itself gradually over a period of almost 4 hours. The small intestine works on a small amount of food at a time. Okay, stop. Let's go to the small intestine. Small intestine. Okay, small intestine. Go for small intestine. Almost at 20 feet long, The small intestine is the workhorse of the digestive system. It will continue to break down food with enzymes released by the pancreas and bile released from the liver. It is made up of 3 segments: the duodenum, which continues the breakdown of food, and the jejunum and ileum, which are mainly responsible for the absorption of nutrients. Aiding the digestive process is the pancreas. Among its other functions, the pancreas helps digestion by producing digestive enzymes and secreting them into duodenum, the first segment of the small intestine. These enzymes break down protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Stop. Kuya, ang assignment niyo eh. Sama niyo eh. Lugay kay Mahaman. Okay, let's go to the liver. Where is the liver? Okay. The liver is another organ with many functions. Its main responsibilities in the digestive process are to make and secrete bile and to process and purify the blood, which contains newly absorbed nutrients that are coming from the small intestine. Bile has 2 main purposes: to help absorb fats and to carry waste from the liver that cannot pass through the kidneys. Bile made in the liver travels to the small intestine through bile duct. Large intestine na ta. Ay, large intestine, hapit na ta sa lubot. Large intestine na, hapit na sa rectum, na ano, sa babla, tai, ni gawas. Okay. Mahurot ta ako ang storage sa akong phone nga daan. Large intestine. Okay, get ready for the large intestine. Next along the journey is the colon or the large intestine. It is a 5 to 7 feet long muscular tube that connects the small intestine to the rectum and is responsible for processing waste so that defecation is easy and convenient. The rectum is an 8-inch chamber that connects the colon to the anus. The rectum receives stool from the colon, sends signal to the brain if there is stool to be evacuated, and holds stool with until evacuation can happen. Okay, let's talk about mechanical and chemical and mechanical and chemical blah 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 blah. Black sheep, have you anyone? Okay, now let's talk about 2 types of digestion: the mechanical digestion and the chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion starts in our mouth. Wait, repeat. Now let's talk about the 2 types of the digestion: mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. Mechanical digestion starts in our mouth by using our teeth to chew food into smaller, swallowable size. Also, as we chew or masticate our food, the stomach's smooth muscles are activated and will continue with the mechanical digestion by turning the food that we swallow in smaller particles called chyme. Mechanical digestion only breaks down the food that we eat. Chemical digestion occurs in our mouth, stomach, and small intestine. The food that we eat has large molecules that need to be broken down to smaller, absorbable molecules. In order for that to happen, the digestive enzymes are released and causes the change. Fine. Hapit na, mahuman. Bababaon na pa, isumpay ni. Isumpay na lang ni. Naaman di ay ni. Okay, go. The salivary glands that secrete enzymes amylase that breaks down some of the carbohydrates into simple sugar that is called monosaccharides. In the stomach is where you break down large molecules of proteins that consist of amino acids. Pepsin is enzyme that breaks down a protein into smaller individual amino acids. In the small intestine, the duodenum is where most of the fats and the rest of the carbohydrates are broken down. Chemical digestion uses enzymes to break down molecules into smaller observable molecules. Okay. Ito si Major. Ito na sa Major. Major. Ito Major. Ay kahulog. Okay. And now let's talk about the 5 major food groups. It is an essential set of foods that are classified into 5 categories of common properties and nutritional content. It helps us to recognize the constituents that make up a balanced diet and to ensure the proper amount of each one is used. The group 1 are starchy and carbohydrates such as bread, cereals, potatoes, pasta, and rice. Group 2 are fruits and vegetables. These can be fresh, canned, frozen, dried, and juice. Group 3 are dairy. These are milk and cheese. Group 4 are proteins such as meat, fish, poultry, eggs, nuts, and beans. Group 5 are fats such as oil and spreads like olive oil, canola oil, butter, and lards. Okay, let's go to the proportion of foods. Wapod ay ko karidi. Iskot. Kuligo na lang, pinakasayo na lang. Di pag yun mahakuan. Okay. And now let's talk about the proportions of foods. A balanced diet that is suitable for healthy adults and children consists of 55% carbohydrates, 15% proteins, 10% saturated fats, and 20% unsaturated fats. That's all. Babe, kita ba ko?